It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Geek out!
Hey, welcome to another installment of Catching Up. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
And we got Kyle Starks pulling the hat trick this week. He's here for his third appearance. He's talking Rock Candy Mountain. The second story arc kicks off today with issue number 5. We just posted an advanced review of it earlier this week. It's a doozy. It's
fantastic.
He, in this interview, calls it the best thing he's written in his comic career so far. And that's not hyperbole, because it really is like, and it's it's an origin, so it's a great jumping on point too. But that first volume's out in comic book stores as well. But you know what? Let's let Kyle talk about it. And joining us for his three-peat, the hat trick, the turkey if you're a bowler, we have Kyle Starks. Is it a turkey even if you're not a bowler?
I mean, I'm not a... yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean, if you're not a baseball player and you hit a home run, still a home run.
Okay, yes.
But what about the third home run?
That's a turkey.
Oh. See?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Shit. So bowler.
You know what,
and
Kyle?
all.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna kick these guys out of here. They clearly don't know what they're talking about.
They're not sports guys.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Clearly.
Evidently not.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, guys. This is Geek Out. We got to know sports.
Yeah. So Kyle, thanks for coming on the show again.
Yeah, glad to be here, guys.
So
Always glad to talk sports anywhere.
Yes.
Speaking of sports, this issue 5, which kicks off the second and final arc tier of Rock Candy Mountain, is momentous and also a kick right in the nads, like emotionally. I feel like this is the most emotionally resonant thing that you've ever written. Like no hyperbole.
No, for sure. I think it's the best 22 pages I've written to date. Which isn't saying a lot. I've only done. I mean, between Rick and Morty and Dead of Winter and this, there's not a ton of competition. But I feel like it's the best. It's the best single issue I've written to date for sure.
Well, I mean, you do pump in a lot of emotion in a story about a dog fighting zombies. I mean, to be fair.
Wait till you see issue 4 of that book. If you want to cry a little bit, wait till you get to issue 4 on that book.
Did that top Rock Candy Mountain number 5, or was that just one?
No, I don't think it does. But I'm super proud of the way that series, Dead of Winter, came together. And I think it hits all the things. Everything I do is a little bit emotional, but usually I try to balance it with a bunch of punches and jokes. And with issue 5 of Rock Candy Mountain, it's just not what the book required.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted to write something, because no spoilers, but Jackson has like a super tragic backstory,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no way to do that fair and for it not to be super tragic. So that's what that issue is.
Well, obviously, doing the show, writing for Image Plus. I read a lot of comics, just reading comics for my own leisure. I read a lot of comics, but in the moments leading up to this interview, I was going over the advanced PDFs, and this issue just fucking floored me. And you still have the jokes. You have Jackson. Again, let's not get into spoilers, but I mean,
he 100% fights an entire headquarters full of Nazis.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
He kills the shit out of them.
Lots of Nazis. Very. I mean, yes.
What's he?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thumbs up
Nazis
to
die.
Yeah. By the gross, but I mean, there's still fights. There's still, we see you turn a lot of your cards over with this issue without saying exactly what those reveals are. A lot of questions get answered here. Was that always kind of by design as you were crafting the story?
Yep. Yeah. I'm getting to do everything. I'm just about to start issue 8, which will be the last issue. I came in intending to do 8 issues, hoping it would be a wild success, which it was not. I will happily accept cult classic in the place of wild success, I guess. But I'm doing exactly what I want. I know my colorist was like, "Oh, you should do this issue later," but with it being broken up into 2 trades, I felt like you couldn't push the mystery of Jackson that much longer. And I think now, knowing what the stakes are for his quote unquote mysterious journey, it raises these last 3 issues, because where he's going and maybe you don't, but you should have an idea of where he's going and what he plans to do, or what he has to do, and why he has to do it. So I think like it makes these last 3 issues have a lot of momentum, and there's a lot of at stake for them, which I think really makes you want to invest yourself into the story.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. One of the probably the 2 big antagonists from this first arc was the literal devil and the hobo mafia, and we not only see Jackson's motivations, his own personal motivations and his background, but we also see how those 2 vendettas are tied into the story. So I mean, it was a single issue where I was like, this is, I mean, it without hyperbole again, and at the risk of getting my nose browner than it usually is, it is the kind of like, it was just a standout. It was a doozy of an issue in the best kind of way.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, that's what you want to hear as a creator. So I'm super proud of it. So I'm glad, because you're not someone else got an early review copy of it, and they basically said the same thing. I was like, look, I did it. Like, I'm so pleased that I did the thing I wanted to do. And I think, I think the plan is, they especially with the creator-owned series, is you sort of take a break to put out the trade, and then you hope a bunch of people will jump on for the next issue 5, right? Mm-hmm. So your sales will bounce. So I'm hoping having a very, very good issue, which again I think is probably the best single issue I've written, will do that. Who knows? I mean, I don't have control over that stuff. So,
I mean, worst comes to worst, just tweet pictures or share pictures of Jackson taking on Nazis. I feel like in this day and age,
I did that. I thought for sure that would that has to be another 2,000 pre-orders, but it didn't. So.
With the you had done a lot of shows, this year, pumping, Gen Con and everything. You just came off your first New York. How has the response been at the shows themselves? And I remember because we had talked and hung out a bit at the Skybound party. Way back when. New York feels like it was ages ago. It was like 3 weeks ago. But
yeah. Well, I had to take like 2 weeks off, so
yeah.
Like I played Splatoon and slept for 2 weeks.
So you're really good at Splatoon now.
I mean, you know what? I'm pretty good. I don't know. I don't know in the big scheme of things, but when I first got it, I had no idea what was going on, and now I'm regularly sort of the top between 1 and 3 player, but I don't know if that means I'm good because I'm playing on who wants to talk about Splatoon, guys? I don't think this is the time or the place.
Yeah.
But hey, Splatoonies, get at me, all right? We'll Splatoon.
But
that can be at the end where we ask you what you're geeking out.
Yeah. The
if you Splatoon 3 times in a row, it's a turkey.
Yeah. Or is that when Beetlejuice shows up?
You know what happens if you beat it 5 times in a row? Then your weapon gains a new a freshness level.
Oh,
that's what you're shooting for. Splatoon.
Damn.
I don't know. It's what I want. I don't know. Maybe I'm not playing it right. I have no idea.
But I guess to get back to my pre-Splatoon question, right. How is the experience? Promoting Rock Candy Mountain, especially as a show as big and just nuts as New York Comic Con. How has that been? I
mean, New York Comic Con was 99.7% just a Rick and Morty show for me. I think I brought 25 copies of Rock Candy Mountain personally, and I sold them in the first day, which is awesome. But people wanted Rick and Morty at that show. That's all they wanted, and I had a very good show because of that. Generally, the response to Rock Candy Mountain so far has been the same response I get for Sex Castle: is that everyone who read it loves it, and generally tells someone else about it. But that number is not as it's just not as great as one would like. But that's just how you go. That's why you make a book, and the next book you hope is bigger and does a little bit better, and so on and so forth. You got to build that name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think now that you've got the trade's been out for about a month now, you've got. I mean, would you be open to doing a deluxe hardcover collecting all 8 issues when it's all said and done? Yeah,
of course. I think optimally, because the thing is I have to, especially with solicitations. Even when we started, it's it's the beginning of the second arc. It's well. There's really not an end to any, there's no, the story doesn't change. It's just kind of, you know what I mean? There's no arcs. It's 8 issues. There's just 4 issues in a trade. That's just how that works.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the image model. Yeah, it's that, and you get that cool, $10 first volume, and it's just hey, this is the jumping on point for for a lot of stuff. And this is your first creator-owned ongoing, series. How is that? Sex Castle started out self-published. Kill 'Em All, which is now coming through Oni Press. That kind of started out largely through your own initiative as well. How is the experience of working, with an image that was
Monthly?
Yeah, monthly and top to bottom image from Jump? How was that?
I mean, Image is so good, and I think with the self-publishing, I don't think that's Image doesn't make a lot of difference that way. I think they just want to put good books out. So, there's no editorial interaction for me. They basically let me do whatever I want, which is great because that's what I want. Because I have a huge, massive ego, and I don't like to be told that I'm wrong. So, outside of some really, really great grammatical stuff, which I get every month, which I adore. I'm going to shout out those people. I'm going to shout out the people who correct my stuff, which is Melissa Mazzaros. Nope, that's not right. That's Oni. That won't work. She's cool too, though. Don't get me wrong. That lady's name is Melissa, though. I'm almost positive. Anyway, I'll continue as I look because they're great, and you probably know them. I'm so bad at doing two things at once.
I can throw you another softball question if you like in the meantime. By which I mean...
Here's the thing. The monthly stuff is real interesting. I really like stories that have beginning, middle, and end. And that is something that works better in trade for sure. Because you don't have to, there's no chapter breaks, right? I mean, a chapter is as long as it needs to be if you even want to do it that way. Whereas with the monthly model, you're talking about 22 to 26 pages or whatever you get within to sort of play around with. What I like about it is I like having sort of it's the same thing I liked about Kickstarter and self-publishing, but especially with Kickstarter is the same with monthly is you get sort of these immediate responses. Mm-hmm. This is how many people are reading this book. And then the day it comes out, which you get to look forward to, this is how many people are talking about it that day. And, that stuff is fantastic.
Yeah. The kind of the immediacy. And of course you have your own Patreon and everything. And I remember last time you were on, you were just like, sincerely, dude, I've got the best fans. And I think that's...
I do. 1,000%. Melissa Gifford, by the way, does my editing. And she's literally the best. Literally the best. I'm sending them Christmas presents. And Shauna, whose last name I will not be able to pronounce, is super great. Matuziak. Those two people at Image are nicer to me and better to me than anyone. Poor Melissa has to fix so many effing commas every month. You would think by now I would figure out how to do commas in my book, but I don't. I have no idea. I apparently have no idea how a comma works. If there was a show called Comma Off, I would never get a turkey on it.
Guys, we could do a spin-off.
Yeah.
Comma off. I'm real bad at it. And I try to do a thing where now I'm no, I'm going to get them all right this time.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm real bad at it.
And
this last one, issue 5, is real funny. Melissa apparently reads and speaks, or at least reads and writes German. So she corrected all of my Google Translate German that I had in there before for all the Nazis. And man, that's just going above and beyond, really. That was unexpected.
I feel like that Nazi fight was also because I don't remember there being a whole hell of a lot of gunplay in Sex Castle. I feel like this is the first, this is your first John Woo-esque action sequence in your work.
There's a fair amount at the end of Kill Them All. But yeah, I generally tend to like kickies and punchies. And in Sex Castle, I think there's I can't quote my book, but at one point when Shane Sex Castle is talking to Max, the little boy, he's like, guns are for wars and for pussy. So he doesn't think they're the easy way to win a fight for Sex Castle. So they show up and there's sort of a dramatic turn in Sex Castle where guns come into play and he says something tough, but that's basically every page of that book. So.
Yeah. Whereas, I mean, though you are right, everything you do does have a bit of heart because there are moments with Shane and, Max and his mom and everything where it's kind of, because, I mean, that book really is about family. The price of, I guess, how violence or one's past.
It's about parental responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So in the case of Jackson and Rock Candy Mountain, again, without getting into spoilers for issue 5, is it kind of is it almost like a redemptive arc?
It is, but I think also, I don't know anything. I think it's what one person would do for their family too, which I think as a father and a husband is something I think about a lot. And now, Sex Castle literally came out. I think, I don't know when that book even came out now, but I mean, my second daughter's 7, so it was right after she was born, for all intents and purposes. And now this one is, 7 years later. The way, like, I have different opinions on family now. The redemption thing's weird because I feel like everything I write is about, like, my main, not everything, but even a little bit for Rick and Morty. Like, all of my protagonists are always trying to redeem themselves for something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should get some therapy on that, but it's working out pretty good story-wise, so I'm not going to.
That's don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg. So, with the moving forward into this second arc, I mean, it looks like all stops are pulled out. It's full on to that titular location.
That's right.
Every subsequent issue just going to be escalation? I mean, every issue's got glorious fight scenes, and I'm assuming they're going to become more. I remember you once mentioned the dream was to do an issue that was just a running fight, and
issue 6.
My God, yes.
Issue 6 of this book, I think outside of maybe 4 pages, it's entirely a single train fight.
That's the best.
Excellent.
That's the best thing.
It's something I really wanted to do. I wanted to do a book that was just one fight, so I did it, which is pretty great.
Nice.
For me, it feels great.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it was a creative achievement, but I mean, in terms of just rendering it, because my God, the action scenes in this, you've improved on the action sequences in from Sex Castle. I mean, I really am like getting my schnoz kind of opaque here, but yeah, I was just kind of, I immediately went back to my paperback of Volume 1 after reading number 5, and yeah, there's a lot of foreshadowing stuff that you see in that first arc, but the fights just keep getting better.
I think people like fights in their comics.
Oh yeah. I hear there's a market for that.
Yeah, my hope. I really thought from the beginning that, people would be like, "Oh, hobos pass," and someone would be like, "Yeah, but like it's just a shit ton of fights, right?" Like, you guys know about Kyle Starks and how he just does jokes and fights, right? But yeah, I did an interview with someone recently, and because it's a little bit different in terms of what purpose the fights serve in this book than in other books where they're almost entirely fights. And I was like, yeah, man, that's just how I tell stories. Like, if I ever do one that's not fighting and joking, then you should be worried about me, because that's just how I tell stories. I think comics should be fun, and I try to do that as much as possible.
I mean,
and jokes and fights. What's more fun than that? Jokes and fights. That being said, I do think, like, Rock Candy Mountain isn't. It's not a gag book. I don't think any of my books are gag books. I know someone real early on, I want to say like issue 4, i.e. the issue they go to prison, was like, gosh, it's just not as funny as the other ones. It's like, yeah, they're in fucking prison, man. Like, but like also like it's not the SpongeBob comic, which I'm sure is great, but it's like, that's a book that exists entirely to presumably make you laugh, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just trying to make people have a good time and sort of feel the emotions, which is a creator's job. So I would say the second half is decidedly less funny than the first half, but I still think funny enough that it goes along with what I want from a book.
You had mentioned, would you say the jokiest book that you do or have done, period? Would you say that's Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah. I mean, for sure. Like, it's a sitcom comic. Yeah. It's a sitcomic. I might have made that up. I don't know if that's a real thing, but yeah, I mean, like, there's other expectations for telling stories in the Rick and Morty universe, but if it's not at the very least black comedy, then it's failed. Though I feel like maybe I tried to do one that wasn't funny, but I don't think so. Yeah, I think the most recent one, the one that just came out, I tried to recreate Grey's Anatomy for Beth, but with horses, and it's not like nonstop funny, but I think it's still very funny, just in a very black comedy way, which is it's a different type of comedy, obviously. But it's less yuck, yuck, yuck. You know what I mean? Like, it's more like, well, that was a good one. But yeah, I think everything should be funny, but I also think there's a time and a place. And I think for someone who's made their career on basically doing action comedies, like, you have to know when to be funny and when not to be funny.
Was kind of striking that balance with issue 5 and, going into the flashbacks and everything, or just the general amount of emotion involved, did that make this issue particularly hard to write?
Yeah, and also, like, I tend to tell stories linearly, which is like to say minute to minute, and that particular book covers so much time over, I think it's 24 pages. I've never written anything like that before, so it was super challenging that way. The things that to me are very funny in that book, which to me are very, very funny, and there's just fewer of those bits. Like, I think sort of balance out how it's not a very funny issue at all. But I think there's two or three things in there that I think are very funny, and they mostly entirely involve around the Nazi fight. But yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be different. Issue 6 is funnier. Issue 6 is just a fight, so it's a very Kyle Starks issue, and also sort of a palate cleanser, I think, for issue 5. Issue 7, I think, is very dramatic, because it's the first part of the roller coaster, right? Like, it's the escalation to the final climax, and I think issue 8 will be probably not very funny at all. But maybe I can get some jokes in there. That's always the goal, is to squeeze some jokes in there.
Was that kind of something that you do, like, on a final pass? Like, a lot of the art's kind of been drawn and everything. You've already done the breakdowns, and you're just like, I could slip in something here.
I tend to, generally, the way I do any book that I'm drawing is I sort of make it up as I go along. I don't write a script. I don't do second passes, really. Sometimes I'll redo pages, but I tend to do it sequentially. About the only thing I do now, because it's a different format, is I figure out these are all the things that have to be in it, and I'll do sort of a page by page outline. But even then, it's like super vague. Like, I know when I was working on issue 5, I sent it to someone to look at it, and I left out, like, I didn't do the Nazi fight, but I had 5 pages, or however many pages it is, I think it's 5, that just said Nazi fight on it. And so, because I was like, oh, I'll get that. I already know what it's going to be. It's going to be a Nazi fight. It's going to be great. And the dude who I sent to, he's like, this is the most Kyle Starks thing, is that I've got this preview, and it's all done except for 5 pages that are just called Nazi fight.
I mean, it speaks volumes. It says everything you need to know. But now it's gloriously, all my Wolfenstein 3D dreams have come true. I mean,
yeah. So yeah, I generally try, like, I generally, the thing about my process is I don't personally want to do anything twice. I don't want to write something out for myself and then draw it, unless it's something complicated, which is pretty rare. And generally, I will try to do it without drawing it or without writing it, and then I might write it just because it's like it's not working that way. But I generally think for things to be light and breezy, and for me to sort of get the rhythm of things, which is almost specifically to get that balance between action and drama and comedy, is that I have to sort of do it on the fly. My friend Andy Hirsch calls it comic book improv, and I accept that.
Kind of, yeah, like freeform jazz.
Yeah, but with fight sequences,
fights and jokes and hobos and.
And I generally have you know what I mean? Like, I know, like, on the train fight, like, I was like, oh, I want these 5 sequences in there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's not 100% whole cloth made as I go along. I've generally thought about everything for a long time, and then it's a matter of just being the most efficient in terms of page count, etc.
Right. So I mean, again, you've got these 8 issues coming out. You're doing Dead of Winter over with Oni. You've got Kill Them All just came out. You've got the new edition of Sex Castle. You've got the Rick and Morty. What can we expect? Going into 2018. I mean, I know the first bit of it. I guess you're wrapped on Rock Candy Mountain by February, which is right in time to have Trade 2 out for Emerald City in March.
Yeah, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to come. I think because I missed, we took 3 months off and we were supposed to take 2 because I missed an email. I think there's supposed to be a month in between the trades, but I'm not going to say anything. And I hope no one says anything. And it still comes out. So it's in time for Emerald City because that would be pretty great for me. Because I'll be there. I'll be at that show, and it'll be my first time at Emerald City. I'm pretty stoked about that. I mean, it's for me, it's the time of the year where I start to try to figure out what is going to be in 2018. I'm hoping to have another Image book. I would love that, but that discussion hasn't been had yet because I'm still trying to finish up this book. I got some stuff I'd like to have happen, but you never know, and sort of doing the dance around with publishers can be frustrating.
Sure.
I've been told I get to do Rick and Morty until I don't want to do it anymore, so I'll be doing that for 2018 for sure. I would love to do a second Dead of Winter series. That was always sort of the plan from the beginning, was to do a series of mini arcs set in that world. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I talked about this last time, but I'm really interested in having someone very, very good draw my work. Gabo does a great job with Dead of Winter, but I think even he would say that he wants to do sort of sci-fi and robots and sort of more ethereal, sort of artsy things, which doesn't line up with my aesthetic per se. He's super talented, but I think even like I said, he would agree like it was not the 100% best fit. So there's some creators I'd love to work with, mm-hmm. and sort of seeing what people have going on now and what's feasible. But we'll see. Hopefully a bunch of more, right?
As an artist yourself, how is it, working on books like Dead of Winter with where you kind of have to, as someone that kind of Barry Windsor Smiths it, I think the only thing you don't do on Rock Candy is the colors, right? That's Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, how is it kind of working in a more collaborative series?
It's easier, but it's scarier. It's more frustrating. There's a lot of pros and cons. There's a lot of pros and cons into both. So like I don't like one more than the other. And I know as I say that, like I think next week I'm going to start on issue 8 to finish it out. The moment I start drawing it, I'm reminded how much I actually like to do the drawing. But in the times that I'm not, where I can crank out scripts, it's like, oh, I got so much work done. Like on to the next thing. But then when I get to the book, it's like, well, that's 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how well it goes. Sometimes less, sometimes more. And it's like, so much time. Like I could be doing all these other things. But once I put digital pen to paper, I'm reminded how much I love it every single time. So the thing I like working with, just it being me, is that particular artist, which is me, knows exactly what it's supposed to look like. Also, I can ask that artist, again, who is me, to do 16 to 22 page panels, or panels per page, which I would never ask someone else to do. That's bonkers. I think on one of these issues of Rock Candy Mountain, I averaged out, and it was like something like 7 to 8 panels per page. As a rule, you feel bad asking someone else to do 6. I will on regular go above that because I think pacing is so important. And especially with someone like Gabo, or even the people who draw Rick and Morty, it's like they don't have any blood in that. They don't have a dog in that fight per se. They're just getting rate and they're doing a very, very good job. To ask them to work very, very hard isn't fair. So there's pros and cons. I get to, one hand, it's my art, so it's limited. So having someone else's art is great. And also I found, especially with Rick and Morty, we just got the guy who did the backups, Mark Ellerby, who's a very nice British boy and is way more talented than I think anyone knows because they just know him from Rick and Morty. I'll write to me, which is a very clear panel. This is the thing that happens. And he will do that, but it'll be from the exact opposite angle that I would have ever done it or would even think to do it, and yet it always works. So stuff like that is great and it's amazing. But I think also that's a testament to how good Ellerby is. But like, so that's great. Like, I love that. But a lot of times it's not that. A lot of the times it's just, it feels like, people are doing their best to sort of comprehend. And I feel like there's no way in this that sounds nice. And I don't want it not to sound nice. It can be frustrating. And I don't think that's anyone. Sometimes it's my fault. I mean, probably more often than not, because I try to not be very, very specific. Because if I was doing a script, I would not want that unless the specificity was very important. So I like drawing it. I don't like how long it takes. I like when other people draw it because sometimes they do it better than me, and it takes less time. So there's pros and cons to both. I mean, they're really truly. I mean, I think it feels clear to me. I'm much more valuable as a writer right now than as an artist because the books that I write sell better than the ones that I draw. And I think that's, like I said, something I'm interested in 2018 to see if I work with someone who, in my opinion, is very, very good. Not that I have not to this date, but to someone, I don't want to name any names. I've got some irons in the fire. Some people who I think are truly extraordinary, and some who are. I would love to do some with Schweitzer, for example. I can say that Schweitzer's my friend. He won't get mad if I say anything. I think Chris Schweitzer is the colorist on Rock Candy Mountain. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, is brilliant. It's just doing the most brilliant job coloring I think you could do on a book that's so cartoony. I would love to do. That guy's one of the probably 5 best cartoonists in America, if not in the top 2 or 3. But no one knows who that guy is because he does historical fiction and kids books. I'd love to do a book with that guy, just because I know that he would hit home runs and it'd be so good for both of us.
Sure.
And that's something I'm interested going on in the future here, but also I very, very want to do, that wasn't even a sentence. I very badly want to do a book that I write and draw every year, if possible. I'd like to do it every year.
Well, let me suggest this earworm or whatever, the Alpha Ceti 5 eel from Star Trek 2. That was why did I make that reference?
That's a good one. You went deep. That was deep.
I mean, I got
You're
it.
geeking out over there.
Yeah. Got to live up to the name, but
That's right.
Nerd.
yeah.
Get him. Someone just pull his underwear. I don't know. That's gross. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, nobody wants to touch my underwear. But
no.
So what if you did something kind of completely self-contained a la Sex Castle while writing other books, i.e., collaborative, create our own books on the side? Because then it's your own pace with something like Sex Castle, obviously that was your, again, self-published, that was something that you were doing while you were working. But about how long would you estimate something about the length of Sex Castle would take you to draw, provided, of course, you're writing other stuff on the side?
Well, Sex Castle is it's 220 pages. I think 200 pages is sort of my sweet spot. Mm-hmm. I don't know. When I did that book, I had a full-time job. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, and I think I did it in less than 6 months.
Oh, wow.
I did for Kill Them All now, which is an exception. Kill Them All is an exception because I'd lost that aforementioned job, and I knew I would need to kickstart something so that my family could have what we like called food. They all like it. Every single one of them likes what we call food. And so the last 74 pages of Kill Them All I did in 30 days. But I was very motivated, and I had nothing else going on. So to do that type of thing. Also, the thing is, like, after Rock Candy Mountain, I tried real hard on the art for Rock Candy Mountain, knowing that it was going to be sort of the most visible thing I had done to date. And I don't think I can go back to being quite as loose as I was in Sex Castle, though I say that I maybe could. So everything takes a little bit longer, but still not that long, frankly. The adage is be good, be fast, be nice. And I've always tried it's past my bedtime, boys, just so you know. Usually Daddy's so good at talking, but he's so sleepy. Usually he talks so good, but today he talks so bad. I try hard to be nice and I know I'm fast, and sometimes I'm good. Like that's sort of, I try to be nice and I try to be fast to make up to maybe not always being as good as I'd like. But here's my thing with that. Here's this. That's a real fucking roundabout. Is that I don't think you can go straight to trade in America and be successful, and I think that's real unfortunate. It's just too much of a slow burn. I don't think it. I think there's international creators that can do that because of where they're at and how things sell locally to them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of dudes, like I always mention Jason, the Swedish artist Jason, who's one of my absolute favorite creators. He did I Killed Adolf Hitler, haha. He did East Bank Gang and Last Musketeer. He did all these sort of wild, like Hitchcockian sci-fi mashup books, and they're all like 80 pages, which I always think like, man, an 80-page book, if only, like I could just do it. And I'm sort of thinking about it for this year. I just don't. I think even though monthly sales are sort of trending downward, the sort of advertising you get from being in stores every month benefits the sale of the book and benefits the sort of degree of notoriety that you have as a creator, because the people who work in the stores ultimately are the ones who sell your book.
Right. I think, we just had Matt Hawkins on the show, and Top Cow, even being its own, being Top Cow, they still kickstart their original graphic novels. They mass market them too eventually, but as both a marketing tool and as a distribution tool, like Golgotha, which just hit shops at the time we're recording this today, they kickstarted that initially. They just funded their most recent Kickstarter, just got funded this morning. So yeah, I think to that point, original graphic novels are they're kind of they're a niche within a niche.
Yeah, it's interesting because the series that are done now are almost entirely done to eventually get to the trade.
Oh yeah,
but yet going straight to trade is not a profitable decision. I love doing Kickstarter. I would love to do, because I did what I did with Kill Them All and what I did with Sex Castle, which is I kickstarted them and then I found a publisher. I say found. That's not probably the exact. If that burp came across, I just did a nasty burp over here, so I don't know how good that came across on your guys' end. It's
was good.
Very good. I'm very
good.
sorry.
It was good.
Super sorry if you had to hear that. I sort of fell into publishers. I got super lucky, which is a part of any career, but especially mine. But I really think that if you're going to do trade, that's how you have to do it. Is that because Kickstarter has its own marketplace, and that marketplace only wants those big books. I don't think, and I could be wrong. In fact, I probably am wrong, but I would say the percentage of people who do single issues on Kickstarter that are very, very, very successful is not as much as people who have done trades on Kickstarter. I could be wrong about that. I feel like trying to do a single issue system on Kickstarter doesn't ever work the way anyone wants it to. Again, I could be wrong, but I think you do your book, you kickstart it, and then you find a publisher, which gives you sort of the broader audience, is great. And you do have a little bit of buzz from having that Kickstarter success. But I sold on my last Kickstarter, which was Kill Them All, I sold, I think, something like 500 something books. Damn. On my first issue of Rock Candy Mountain, I sold something like 11,000.
Damn.
So
yeah,
it's the number. It's to me, I feel like it's better. It's better to have eyes on your work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And Jim Zub was saying, because he's been doing, I guess, self-published comics because he started out with what, Skull Kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that that'll get a little more, especially with digital sales kind of starting to come into it. Like Skull Kickers is finally, and Jim's been public about this, so I'm not like giving the goose away. Skull Kickers starting this year is finally in the black, after factoring in all those issues. And then there is definitely kind of they live on the shelf once they hit trade, but yeah, you have to build that momentum, and I think a lot of that is having other books like, say, obviously Jim's writing for Marvel now, but having stuff like Rick and Morty, or having stuff like Dead of Winter.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I don't know, because I feel like for the most part, the people who are buying Rick and Morty just want Rick and Morty. but when I do a show like Heroes in Charlotte, which is a great creator-owned show, I did that show and I sold my stuff, and I didn't sell almost any Rick and Morty because those people want creator-owned stuff and they want to honor artists and writers. So it depends on the crowd, and still every show I do, I sell a fair amount. But if you're going to do like dollar to dollar on what I make at a show on Rick and Morty versus everything else, man, it's ugly. It's like Rick and Morty threw a turkey down on those other guys. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing it. That's what we call a callback, fellas.
It's good.
Well, yeah.
It's not bad.
So I don't know, but what I think is that Sex Castle was good because everyone who reads it likes it, which is amazing. I found the same thing is true for Kill Them All. I found the same thing is true for Rock Candy Mountain, and so I hope that next thing, which again may or may not be drawn by me, has more eyes on it, and hopefully, once there's a lot of eyes, they go, oh, let's see what else this guy's got, and then it sort of will retroactively build an audience for me. But I think every book is a little bit more, as long as you're not, I want to say turkey in the sense of a bad book, but I didn't want to say it because we've already set it up so well for the other joke. But like, as long as you're not doing bad work, I think you're only sort of improving, the sort of the consumers. I don't know what I'm saying. Every good book makes more people know who you are. That's just the way anything works.
Yeah, raises the profile.
Yeah. It was like, so Bottle Rocket's great, right? Wes Anderson's Bottle Rocket's great. Nobody saw that movie. But like the next movie, everyone who saw Bottle Rocket's like, oh man, or everyone who saw Bottle Rocket was like, oh, you guys got to see this. Bottle Rocket was dope. Whatever I can't remember anything.
Rushmore?
So like the next movie did, Rushmore, right?
Yeah.
Rushmore was great. Rushmore was so good that everyone which was the Tenenbaums, right?
Oh yeah, Royal
So
Tenenbaums. Yeah, totally.
Royal Tenenbaums was next. So everyone who watched Rushmore, by the way, is a brilliant piece of storytelling and filmmaking. Those who were like, oh, you got to see, like the last movie, did you see Rushmore? People were like, no. I'm like, oh, he's got a new movie coming out, it's so good, you got to see. And that's how it goes. Like each movie gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Wes Anderson did like a weird little Arizona movie that's like 2 sets, and now he's Wes Anderson, right? Like everything he touches is gold, and that's sort of what you want. You want to continually to make good, interesting things that sort of stand out a little bit. Maybe the hobo thing didn't stand out or stood out in the wrong way. I'm not sure. I still think hobos are amazing, and we'll talk about them at length happily. But you just hope the next thing you do gets a few more eyes on you, and you do that by making good work and by fostering a really strong fan base that is all about championing.
Yeah,
I can spell it, guys.
Yeah.
Championing.
It's a verb. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did it. I think I said it correctly, though. I'm from
champion.
Southern Indiana, so sometimes we're bad at words, just in general. I think, as I said earlier in this, is like the people who support me are amazing because they buy copies of Sex Castle to give away. Like, that's awesome, and that's making more fans for me, and because of that, I get to make more work, and it's sort of a vicious circle that way, a deliciously vicious circle. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what the question was. I went on a real tangent there, babies. But yeah, I want to do the next book, and it'll probably end up. It probably won't be straight to trade because I don't think in the comic store sort of universe that's the way to be profitable and have eyes on your work. Though that being said, I think it's okay to have that little weird book that not as many people see. I think that's okay as a creator to do. But also at the same time, I want to have as many eyes as I could on whatever I do. But I also would like to do, I'd like to do 2 basketball books in the next 2 years. And that's a weird thing to want to do. You can't expect that to make a lot of money, but I want to do them very badly and they'll be very good. So hopefully I get that opportunity.
Jason Latour once pitched a basketball book, half jokingly, but it's Jason Latour, so who the fuck knows, to me, saying, I want to do a basketball book called Away Team, where they just, it's Star Trek, but they're instead of, explorers, they're basketball players. And so they tell, just in Star Trek, away teams always beam down on the planet. That would be it.
There you go.
Was he at a bar? Was this at a bar?
Nah, unless he was at a bar and didn't tell. No, I think he was at his house. It was when he was on the show.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough to say with sober Jason.
You know, it's you were talking about the trade thing, and I worked at a comic shop for a little while, and for like a couple years, and I would see that sometimes. But you know what? I saw sometimes having a book go straight to trade or be a graphic novel and never be have been in single issue form. Sometimes what I've found, and obviously not always the case, would be the final push of the sell, would be letting them know that the entire story is in this book, because some people. You could see it in their eyes. They don't want to have to read a million different things to understand the story that's going on. So I wish that would be more, because I do like going out and being able to just read that complete story in that book and have that there and know that this is all I need to read to understand the story is in between these pages.
Yeah, I agree. I know for me personally, because of that, I'm really thinking in terms of 4 and 5 issue stories now, which is 100 and something pages, depending on how you knock it out. Which, as I said earlier, I'm quite smitten by Jason's tight 80-page books. So I think that's a viable way to tell good and interesting stories. The thing with the Kyle Starks problem is that Kyle Starks likes to do 30 pages of fights, and with 100 pages, that's not quite enough story. That's too much fights, not enough story. Unless I just did a book called Fight Town. Oh, guys, I just figured it out.
Fight Town.
A Kyle Starks joint.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down on my phone. Fight Town. Fuck, that's gonna be a good one.
Forget it, Jake. It's Fight Town.
Yeah, it's Fight Town.
Damn it. Guys, don't give me bits, because you know I'm gonna use them. All right. Don't say anything funny, because I'll steal it. I will.
There are freebies,
Yeah.
Kyle. I'm in Moonstruck by Grace Ellis and Shea Beagle as a panda named Sam. So, by all means,
It's all right. We have it recorded that you got it from us. That's all we need.
All right. It'll start being how you promote yourself.
Yeah.
the
Oh, you like that Kyle Starks book? Oh, guess where he got all of his jokes.
Yeah.
Guess where he got that Chinatown reference?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't wait to read Fight Town. I'm sold on the name.
God damn, I can't wait to make it.
I will say, and every neighborhood would have its own style.
Oh!
Sorry, I'm sorry, but
Eventually, we're gonna need a co-writing credit on this.
I'm not using that.
Fair.
And you
nice
open
try.
up issue 2 and it's there. You're
Yeah.
like, son of a bitch!
Welcome to Kung Fu Town.
No. No. You haven't recorded. I said no to that.
I will say Emerald
I
City.
can edit that out. It's fine.
Emerald City.
No.
Emerald City is more of a comic show, so I think as someone that's done Emerald City a couple of years,
Emerald City's the best. I love it.
it's not as insane and I remember you. I think it was like day 2 of the con. You were just like, dude, I'm a country mouse. What the hell am I doing here? Like, it's not as intimidating.
I did not love New York. Sorry, New York. I love you all as humans. But yeah, I'm from bumfuck Indiana, and there were things I did not like about New York.
Well, I remember I did New York Comic Con with the Image crew last year. I wasn't able to go this year, and I remember walking around, and it had been raining like all week. And like I love New York too. Like I'm a Yankees fan, I'm a Giants fan, but like I wouldn't want to live in New York. And I remember walking.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember walking around and being like, it either smells like wet garbage or garbage. That's basically it. And like I said, I love New York. I love New York, but I could never ever live there.
There's no way. I've lived my entire life in the 3rd largest city in Indiana. It's the 3rd largest city, guys. It's nothing to make fun of.
I wasn't thinking of making fun of it until you started defending it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I know what you're wondering though. What's the 2nd biggest city in Indiana? I'm not going to tell you that. All right? Because look, who knows, right? I mean, really, who knows? Despite living here my entire life, I'm a huge Knicks fan, but I sort of had accepted that I would never see them play at home. Also, they're terrible. I don't know if you knew that. It's just the shit. It's like the worst relationship you could have for the last 20 years. But we went to. I made some of the Oni guys walk me to Madison Square Garden, and like, man, I was so like underwhelmed, and I felt like everything to me in New York as a city, I was incredibly underwhelmed You know how many people I saw on Razor scooters? New York, you're not that cool. Why are so many people on Razor scooters? There's nothing cool about that. That's not hip.
Please tell me you at least enjoyed the pizza.
I don't know. I don't know if I had any pizza. I'm thinking. If I did, I didn't enjoy it. Clearly, I don't think I had any pizza. I had a bunch of food. Like all the food I had was also underwhelming. Which I'm not. I don't talk shit. Like New York put my dick in the dirt. I love everyone. I love everyone who lives there. God bless them. But it's just like, yeah, like I couldn't comprehend. Here's the thing. Like if you go to Chicago and you go, oh, I'm at this hotel. Chicago, which is massive. I mean, people that I know are like, oh, but it's no New York. It's like, man, Chicago's pretty fucking big. But if you're in Chicago and you go, can you take me to this hotel? They probably know where it is. And in New York, like you could tell, like every cab driver had zero idea the location of zero things. I think we were one like, hey, we're at the hotel. It's in Times Square. He did not go to Times Square, and I'm pretty sure that's one fucking place you should know the location of in New York, right?
You would think.
Little things like that. Also, you're a cab driver. Don't you have a dispatch person? Can't you be like, I'm not for sure where this is? And they'd be like, take a right. I found it like every single sort of interaction. I was just like, man, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Did you not get the one cab? Did you get the one cab driver in New York that didn't have like GPS?
No, we took a bunch of cabs and none of them ever used like. It was just amazing. It was just like, because in Chicago, which again, I'm not doing apples to apples. In Chicago, you're like, can I go here? And if they don't know, you see them do the little beep, 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 you know? Mm-hmm. No one did that. They were always like, what street's that on? Here's what I heard. So I remember like when I was in college, which was a long time ago, basically every 5 seconds, hey, what's your major happened. And right? Every 5 minutes, hey, what's your major? All the time. At college, outside of college, everyone's always interested in what people are majoring in all the time, right? Mm-hmm. In New York, people want to talk about street numbers all the fucking time. It's literally 100% of every conversation. Like, are you hungry? Like, yes. Let's go to the place that's on this number and this number. So
that's
every
how
cab we got into, they're like, hey, what number is it on? And I'm like, I don't live here. This is the name of the place. It's on this street. And they're like, is that by this number or that number? Like, dude, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Why and it was like, hey, we're going to go to dinner. Cool. There's a place on so-and-so number. Like, man, I don't like that.
So Fight Town's not going to have numbers on streets.
No,
Fight Town will not be a grid.
Yeah.
Fight Town will have normal street addresses. All of the streets will probably be named after trees and possibly presidents. Definitely.
And James Bond actors.
And hobo names.
Maybe Bond. Write that as a maybe. I'm going to steal from you.
Okay. I mean, you don't have very many streets then.
But in Fight Town, when you go, hey, we need to go see so-and-so, the other guy's just going to go, yeah, I know where that is.
There you go.
It's weird hearing you complain from that end because I used to live in New York, so I have a very good understanding of like the lay of the land and stuff like that. And I constantly am like, oh, what street's that on? Because I'm like, that's how I know how to get there. I don't know like names of businesses and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, okay, what's the cross street? And while I was in New York Comic-Con, I was there with my friend of the show, Ken. And he does not know New York, and I would get very frustrated with him. Like he'd be like, "Oh, let's go here for dinner," and I'm like, "Cool, where is it?" And he's like, and I'm like, "No, just tell me what street it's on." He's
what
like,
number? Give me the number, sir.
Yeah. I was like, I can fucking walk there. Just tell me where it is. And he's like, I'll just Google Maps it. It's like, you don't need to waste your data. I can just tell me what cross street it is, and I can walk 3 blocks this way and then 2 blocks over, and boom, we're there. We don't need GPS. It's a grid.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, and I'm not denigrating the layout of that city because I think it's very smart. But I'm saying like the most New York thing is saying numbers.
Yeah.
48th and 8th, 17th and 14th, and like, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah, that's a great pizza place.
Go 2 blocks. It's the same. Like anyone who lives in LA will always name
the highways,
location.
Yeah.
No, they won't do that. It'll always be like, they're like, oh man, I went to I went to In-N-Out Burger. You know, I went to In-N-Out Burger on the Santa Monica Pier. Like, they always have to add that fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing. Like, there's always like, oh, I went so-and-so, you know, it's on Belshire or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, man.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
one
I
thing
always
what
have
doesn't
to
happen-
specify that I go to the Criff Dogs in St. Mark's because the one in Brooklyn is terrible.
Here in Evansville, we don't ever go, oh yeah, I went to you know, the Walmart, the good one. You know what I mean? Like, there's not, you know, the one on the Lloyd. Like, we don't do that here. Like, you just went to fucking Walmart. Just calm down. No one gives a shit which Walmart you went to.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit which In-N-Out Burger you went to. Just say you went to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah. Well, I will say again to my previous point, Emerald City is a very comic-friendly show.
I'm very excited about it. So Emerald City is one of the last shows that I haven't done that I wanted to do very badly. I wanted to do Emerald City sort of since I started, because when I started, at the time, Emerald City was widely regarded as sort of Heroes Con of the West.
Yeah, I can see that being the case. Yeah, definitely.
And I think now it's sort of widely regarded as the very good comic show that also happens to have celebrities at it. So I'm pretty stoked about it. That and now that I'm somewhat established, I really want to do Thought Bubble very, very badly. That's the next sort of check off on my to-do list.
Right. Well,
yeah, Emerald City is the best.
yeah,
You could possibly join us in our annual tradition of drinking alcohol and watching the pilot episode of Frasier while in Seattle.
well, not drinking alcohol, but you know, like getting a pie at the pie bar and
That's
watching
true.
and watching Frasier.
Getting a pie at the pie bar.
There's a curbside bar that just serves pie. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, that pie is the best pie.
Listen, guys, I'm super diabetic, so I can't eat that pie. That's a real shitty thing.
Oh God!
Wow. You know, Kyle, I'm here for you. These guys trying to kill you.
Yeah. They're like, drink some beer and eat some pie. Hey, guys, you got any cucumbers in Seattle? That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just trying to
You have any
steal the
fresh
fight.
sliced cucumbers?
I'm just trying to steal the Fight Town idea. That's all.
Yeah, he can't write it if he's dead.
That's true. Jink,
This
is
gets
there a salad bar? Is there a salad bar and we watch the first episode of Seinfeld? Is that
That's the New York Comic Con.
Yeah, next
Oh,
New York
no,
Comic Con,
there's a salad. Man, you know what? I thought
It's on
no joke, I was
44th
like-
and 3rd. Oh, hey.
I was. Hey, the boy from Indiana says I was somewhere near the Rockefeller Center, and which could be many blocks, but I was somewhere near it, and I was walking because I was lost. Don't tell anybody. I was walking, and I saw a place. It's like Salad City,
Salad City.
unlimited toppings, and I was like, that's just a salad bar, man. No one limits you on toppings.
Yeah.
New York, you're not that cool. Come on.
Oh man.
guys
What
with
is-
razor
what is-
scooters, salad bar restaurants.
Yeah, New York salad bar, unlimited toppings, unlike Des Moines, where they limit your toppings. Not here in the big city.
Yeah.
Like, what? Calm down.
To be fair,
Salad.
I did once go to a Popeyes that had a soda fountain where you could fill your own sodas. You know, it wasn't one of those ones where they hide it behind the counter.
Yeah.
It was there in the restaurant, and I finished my drink, and I went up to get a refill, and they yelled at me because there were no free refills, and I was like, "What?"
what Popeyes was this?
The one in Times Square near Midtown Comics.
Yeah, on 38th and
yeah,
7th. Yo,
sir,
That's
it's
right.
on
Hey.
40th.
yo, don't you know numbers, yo?
Between
That-
7th and 8th.
That Popeye is having hard times, like much harder than expected when it opened because it had planned to have free refills, and because Popeyes has hit hard time, and now it just regrets its terrible early design decisions. Every day, someone walks it to get that free refill.
Yeah.
I guess
We can't afford. I didn't even see a Popeyes in Times Square, so
It's near the Times Square's Midtown Comics, so it's not actually in
Okay.
Times Square. That the Midtown Comics is on like 40th and 7th.
40th and 8th, yeah.
40th and 8th. Yeah.
Sorry, I know we're
Now you have no idea where it is.
Oh, it's somewhere in New York. Oh,
like what is that? What is that? What is that?
it's Andrew
We just
Dice Clay.
we just have one Popeyes here, so it's easy.
Wow.
You don't have to like. We went to Popeyes, like yeah. No one's like, which one though?
Yeah,
No, they know. They know which one you went to.
The
There's only
one.
Yeah.
starring Jet Li.
You don't have to specify. Yeah. You don't have to specify.
So, Kyle, as you may recall, something we ask everybody that comes on our fine program.
Oh my gosh.
What do you?
Here's what I'm
Splatoon.
stoked about. Not shitting on cities that I'd like to sell books in. That's what I'm really
oddly
excited
enough,
about.
oddly enough, the numbers of sales for Kyle Stark's books have gone way down in New York, but up in Chicago.
And Des Moines.
Oh, I love Chicago. Love Chicago. So good there. Such a good city.
Yeah. Seattle. I mean, yeah.
What am I stoked about? You know, I have three things I'm tiny stoked. What was I stoked about last time? Do you remember? It was Heroes of the Storm, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh God, I need to get a cooler life. It's wing flying. I put on those wing suits and just dive. And we actually recreate fight sequences from martial arts movies. That's what I'm so excited about right now. And usually we do bong hits on the way down.
Nice.
It's about the coolest thing. We read classic poetry at the top of our lungs. Basically the coolest thing you could do. I do all the time now.
I remember.
Okay, really, that's super shitty. I do play a lot of Splatoon, guys. Get at me if you play Splatoon. Also, I just read at New York Comic Con. I read Matt Rosenberg's 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. I think it is in the discussion for best book of the year. And the only other book that I feel is in that discussion is Kaiju Max Season 2. Both of those are brilliant, clever comic creations that will surely not sell as many copies as they should. And if you like comics, I highly recommend both of those. Kaiju Max, you can get 1 and 2 for $30.
Oh, wow.
And it's maybe the best book on the shelves. And I think 4 Kids Walking a Bank came out today. No, it comes out November 7th.
Yeah.
8th. Comes out November 8th. But man, Matt Rosenberg is very good. And that is a very good book. And I highly recommend it.
It's kind of the same thing with Donny Cates. He's got a big Marvel profile now that he's doing the Resurrection of Jean Grey. He's doing the Punisher book starting next month. So I always think that.
So Rosenberg's doing it too.
Oh no, that's that. Yeah, but Donnie's doing Doctor Strange and Thanos, and of course he's doing Redneck with Skybound, and he's doing he just did God Country.
Yeah, Baby Teeth. He does with Albatross or something. I don't know what they're called, but Donny Cates, man, talk about a career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy, the thing is he's like, please don't call me an overnight success because that's not accurate. But man, he had an overnight success. That guy, I actually have, I think 3 more appearances, but I'll have done 26 appearances this year, guys. Oof. That's a lot of road work. That's a lot of sitting behind tables. And almost any store I went into, they talked about how much they love Donny Cates. And I don't think I've ever experienced that before. Just like someone who universally was just beloved by and spoken about by stores like that. And that's what you want, man. Mm-hmm. Like you want those stores to back you like that across the board. And that's how you have success. And that's how you end up, going to Marvel if that's what you'd like. But man, I have to think God Country sales have to be amazing. I hope it.
They were pretty good. That was it's been a hot sell at all the through Image at both San Diego and New York now. Having the con exclusive hardcover never hurts, but the
oh, does it have one?
For God Country,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
There's a little part of me that just went, are you that much of a collector, Kyle? And I was like, no, but that still sounds cool.
He cracked a tooth at New York.
Did he?
He was filming with Skybound. He was filming a promo for Redneck, and in that promo, he had to bite into a barbecue rib and smile at the camera. And when he bit into that rib, he hit bone.
Oh,
and it cracked a tooth.
That's no good. We saw him at the Skybound thing. He was real cheerful. He remembered me, and that's good because I like that.
Yeah. Always makes There have been occasions where I've maybe seen Matt Hawkins in passing, and I'd be like, "Hey, man, I had you twice on the show. We talked in Seattle for a bunch, and he's like, kind of just like, yeah, man, yeah." And I'm just like, you don't know who I am.
Thanks, Charlie.
I write the magazine.
I feel like I always, whenever I was like, man, I don't remember anybody, but I sort of feel like I kind of almost always have. I've been real lucky, but I don't know. I don't talk to that many people, so I'm sure I'll fuck that up.
Oh, I mean,
well, we'll find a salad bar with unlimited toppings in Seattle,
and there's plenty of.
They should all have unlimited toppings. They should all have unlimited toppings. What are they gonna be? Don't put cheese on it twice. Shut up! You put it out here.
Yeah.
It's a bowl of cheese. I'm going to use as much as I want.
can't put
You're the one who
feta
fucked
and
up.
Parmesan.
If you wanted to limit the cheese, you should put a smaller cheese bowl.
Bacon bits, all the bits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Give me the bacon and the bacon bits.
I feel like there's at the Fisher's Market. There's
Yeah.
got to be. There's got
I
to be.
bought the only purchase I made at Seattle Minnesota Comic Con wasn't comic related. It was a Frasier T-shirt at like the super souvenir shop next to the fish market. That was my favorite thing.
But yeah. So yeah, we'll see you in Seattle in a couple months, Kyle. By which I mean like 4 or 5 months. But the yeah.
It feels shorter than that, though. I mean, it's 5
does.
months, but it feels like, to me, it's just right around the corner.
Yeah, having said that, it does feel like it's been ages since New York, and it's been like 3 weeks.
Jesus, it only has been 3 weeks.
Yeah, but yeah,
It's those unlimited toppings on the salads.
I mean, it
What?
slows down time, dude. But
It doesn't make any sense.
it's like
I was like unlimited salad toppings, and a dude on a razor scooter went by. Like, what the fuck is this?
Hey, do you know where to
This is
get
not
the
what I
food
promised. This is not the city that the theater
Oh.
promised me. It's not. It's not the.
Is that the
It's not
devil?
the New York cinema promised. What is? That's my daughter. Can you hear that?
yes.
Apparently I woke my daughter up. She came downstairs. I was like, go get in the chair. It's like right above me. Apparently she's rearranging the ottoman with no regard to anyone else asleep in the house, I guess. So
Right on.
That's funny.
But yeah, well, before we sign off, Kyle, anything you want to plug? Again, Rock Candy Mountain #5 out in comic book stores everywhere. Wednesday, November 8th. First trade's already out and available on Comixology if you're more digitally inclined. Yeah, and of course, new edition of Sex Castle out. Kill Them All, Dead of Winter, and Rick and Morty.
That's it. I'm super proud. I'm super proud of Rock Candy. I'm proud of all of them. I love my babies equally, but yeah, man, like buy Rock Candy Mountain, please. I think you'll like it. I think you'll be. It's a little bit different but familiar, and I think that's what comics needs. Like like I said with Rosenberg and Xander Cannon with Kaiju Max is like superheroes are cool. But I think it's nice for something to be so different. I like to think that, and if not, I guess then buy it anyway. If you disagree, but yeah, I mean, Rocky Candy Mountain's my baby right now. I'm real proud of it. But all those books are good. Dead of Winter is about a dog fighting zombies. That's pretty great. Rick and Morty is about this drunk scientist guy. I don't know. You might have heard of it. I know, whatever. But we do Rick and Morty every month, and God knows you're not getting that for another 2 years. So go ahead and put that subscribe button on Comixology or start that pull list at your local store. Also, if anything, man, buy some Kyle Stark stuff. I'm real proud of all of it, and I think anyone will enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Follow me at the Kyle Starks on Twitter. That's cool too.
Yeah. And there.
I want to say, speaking of Twitter,
Sure.
I got a tweet from just regular Kyle Starks, and he was like, hey man, I got a bunch of tweets. People think I'm you. And I was like, okay. And he's like, maybe we should do something to fix that. And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess, like, you don't have a check mark. Change your fucking name. What do you want from me?
And that's how Fight Town starts.
He's trying to
maybe over who's verified on Twitter.
Yeah.
he's trying to extort money out of you, I guess.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't have any, so good luck to that.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
He wants some of that. He wants some of that Rick and Morty money.
Yeah.
Let's fix it somehow. He says.
Let's fix it somehow.
What do you recommend? Yeah. Also named Kyle Stark. One of us do a name change?
Yeah.
Sure.
I
Get
feel
rid
like
of your
it's
name.
probably going to be you.
You've already got the blue check mark. You got everything. You've clearly there are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All someone has to do is look for that blue check mark, and they're like, "Oh, that Kyle Starks." Yeah. Okay.
Are you? I don't know about you guys, but I almost always do that little bio check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the little hover.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this Kyle Starks only has 170 followers. Probably not the Eisner-nominated Rick and Morty writer. Probably.
Probably.
If I had to guess.
Probably don't ask that guy questions about your headcanon for Rick and Morty.
Yeah, maybe you should have told that, or tweet at that guy, be like, hey, maybe in your bio you should say, direct all of your comic book queries to this guy, not me.
Maybe have a bio because he doesn't even have that.
Oh well, yeah,
there's
fuck that guy.
That's his.
I know.
Problem.
Yeah,
you're asking for it, bud.
I don't write comics.
Yeah.
What's your suggestion? I don't know, man. I I'm not changing mine. I specified that I'm the Kyle Stark.
Kyle Stark's prime. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Kyle Stark's Alpha.
Oh.
King of the Starks.
I said it.
Yeah.
I said it. Sorry, I took over the end on the outro. I ruined the outro. The Kyle Starks, everybody. On Facebook, on Twitter. Kyle Starks on Patreon. All of my books are very fun. There's lots of punches. There's lots of jokies. Everyone likes punches and jokies. Everyone likes laughing and being happy. I make those comic books. Let's do it. Woo!
Can't put it better myself.
There you go.
And there you have it. Thanks again for coming on, Kyle.
Thanks, guys.
Always a good time having Kyle on.
Yeah.
Always a
No,
good
I
time.
love that kid.
Yeah. He's going places.
Mm.
He's Eisner nominated.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
Yeah.
He's been places.
Yeah, he's been places, and what's it? That fucking thing. Sex Castle.
Yeah.
Is getting more.
Literally
steam.
that fucking thing.
Yeah. That's getting more steam. He's doing Rick and Morty. He's doing the Lord's work. He's doing Dead of Winter, and that's been apparently well received. So he's thinking about doing a new volume of it.
Some of my online gaming friends have started playing the
Dead
game.
of Winter. Yeah,
because you can play certain board games through Steam.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh well, you guys got to read the book.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
Yeah. There's a zombie killing dog in the first issue.
Yeah, you got to check it out. Hey.
But no, thanks again to Kyle for coming on. And again, that issue Rock Candy Mountain's out today, as well as that first trade, and Sex Castle. I just got a new edition. You guys get into anything wild and wonderful? West Virginia status?
West Virginia.
Mountain
that's all I got.
Mama.
That's all I got.
There are 3 films this year use that song.
Oh man.
Only one of them is good.
Ooh.
Wait, what's the? I know 2 of them. What's the third one? And guess what the third? I guess what you know which 2 it is.
Yeah, the 2 that you
Kingsman
know.
for sure.
Yeah, Kingsman and Logan Lucky for
that's right.
that you know.
Oh,
for sure.
that's right. Yeah. I didn't.
The other one that used it. Okay, Logan Lucky might be the worst movie I've seen this year. To answer
Yeah.
your earlier off mic question.
Ousted the founder.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that's just because you have a better memory of it because it was more recent, or because it was legitimately worse?
It was legitimately.
You had a stronger reaction to the founder, which says something about Logan Lucky.
That's
because
true,
we didn't like. Logan Lucky to me was boring. There was a couple.
Tedious.
There was a couple moments where I was in.
Yeah, there wasn't just one scene of Michael Keaton adjusting his pants that made you go, ah.
You know, the founder was almost like stupid, like
It was like a TV
annoyingly
movie.
funny.
It was like a
yeah.
fucking Hallmark movie that got the fucking theatrical release, the wide theatrical release. That's the founder.
So what was the third movie?
Oh, Alien Covenant.
Oh, it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, real quick, I'll just. I went to a wedding, Portland for a wedding, and which was fantastic and lovely. It was inspiring.
Is that your first time in Oregon?
Yes, I loved it.
Thank you for clarifying that. I was about to ask which Portland.
No, it was. I loved it. It was a wonderful time. But when I was on the flight home. Like they had on Delta, they had movies you could watch for free.
I love Delta.
Awesome.
I love
Delta. Freaking
Delta.
awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Delta.
Yeah,
that was freaking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'll ride whatever Image puts me on, but if you put me on
yeah,
Delta,
yeah, for real. Less money, more go. And
so we ended up paying for the Frontier flight or Spirit flight.
We did. Yeah, we that was us. That was on us.
Yeah, Oregon.
I'm on my way back, and I already have a bunch of movies
preloaded
on my iPad Mini. So I was like, I'm watching these, and none of them really. I was like, I really want to watch. The guy next to me started The Mummy, fell asleep, and then turned it off. Sorry, Chris.
While he was asleep,
I thought about
got to watch.
I thought about doing The Mummy,
just lean over.
But then it
his
would have been
shoulder.
funny because both of us would have been playing at the same time at different moments. So, but the guy in front of me to the right on the aisle, because I was in the middle, I could see his screen. He was watching Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
I guess spoilers for Alien Covenant, but isn't James Franco's in it, right?
Yes.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I saw his
uncredited.
I saw his scene
Yeah.
where he burns alive inside the thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a horrible way to go. And I'm on a plane already nervous. I'm like, get this shit off here. I just finished Quantum of Solace on my flight, I was like, Jesus Christ.
A plane crashes in that film.
Does it? Yeah. Well, every time I looked up, there was an explosion or fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Jesus.
In Alien Covenant?
In Alien Covenant. Alien Covenant.
There's fire. There's not as many
There
explosions.
was like the
as you would-
explosion of like I guess
You just didn't look up that.
The
often.
lander blows up.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
The lander blows up. But I was like, holy shit! I guess that's the scene they were talking about with James Franco.
Honestly, like Alien Covenant, I would give like maybe a C plus B minus.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't a bad.
I'll watch it eventually.
It
but
yeah. It had such great intentions, and it slipped a little. It didn't flop. I mean, commercially, I believe it did, but like in terms of like its
It did
own
gangbusters overseas.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
But so did the Transformers movies. But like it wobbled where it should have,
Waddled.
yeah. It much like Prometheus, it had such great potential, and it just had a little hiccup here and there within the story. I still thought it was great.
Yeah.
But I think that's because I can see, or I'm judging it by what it was trying to do, not necessarily what it achieved. Which is dangerous in an entertainment medium.
I love the art and production design of Covenant quite a bit. I think and Fassbender does a great job. Jobs.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Does a great jobs.
Yeah. He's two different. He's two different characters, and he's
Yeah.
Steve Jobs and Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
It works on multiple levels, guys. Yeah. So you saw no new movies. You just watched.
No, I just watched a bunch of old Bond movies. I think, did I talk about finishing Moonraker? I don't know if I did, but I did.
I think
the
you did
book,
talk
and
about Moonraker last
yeah.
week.
Yeah, just in case, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite of the 3 Bond novels so far.
Yeah. Are you?
And your favorite movie.
Yeah. Have you started number 4?
Yeah, I'm like
Diamonds
only a
Off
couple,
Forever?
only a couple chapters.
Only a couple.
off forever.
Only a couple of chapels. Got it.
Yeah. Into Diamonds Are Forever.
Mm.
It's fine so far.
Yeah.
It's fine. You get to learn about diamonds.
Oh, are they forever?
They last so long. Yeah. You getting anything, Chris?
Mostly just fixing up my lawn in real life. I completely not uprooted, but like completely like kind of. Our lawn had been completely overrun by weeds.
Yes.
And I went in and like killed everything and then reseeded earthing. I almost took a blowtorch to it just because I was like, burn it down, Seth Rollins style. But yeah, so it's. I mean, I don't know. It's probably too dark by the time you guys got here, but it is quite lush and
Daunt.
sure. I will assume that's a real word and not one that you just made up.
It means green.
Ah, well then yes, because it is quite green. But so I'm pretty proud of that. I run trivia at my bar, and we did a special spooktacular Halloween trivia because not to blow anyone's minds, but it is only November 1st right now that we're recording this. So yesterday we did Halloween. We did Halloween trivia, and I dressed up in my Wreck-It Ralph costume. People loved it, as they always do when they see it. And I watched Thriller and the making thereof. As my Halloween tradition.
When I went to work as Bruce Lee. Only one person on the first try got that I was Bruce Lee.
Oh no! What were some of the guesses?
What do they think you were? The bride?
They're never like the bride / Beatrice Kiddo. They're always just like Kill Bill, and I'm just like, yes, Kill Bill. I got Power Ranger. I got Speed Racer.
Power Ranger.
I could see that because you're in a yellow jumpsuit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially if you had the Kill
Speed
Bill
Racer.
helmet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a onesie.
No, he wears tight white pants and a blue button-up shirt with a red
but
bandana.
that makes more sense to me than Power Rangers.
Okay.
That's just because you know what it really is.
And none of them make sense to me.
Yeah.
Kill Bill obviously makes sense.
Sure.
Because she literally was wearing that suit.
I mean, all you had to, if you just bought a blonde wig, then you'd have another Halloween outfit.
Yeah.
You should do that one year.
Yes.
They'd be like Bruce Lee, and you go, nah! You pull out a blonde wig, and you put it on, you're like, I'm the bride! Wiggle my big toe!
Oren Ishii, Hom Chiameo.
You didn't really think it was going to be that easy, did you?
You know, for a second there. Yeah, I did. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. Remember when after Volume 1 came out, they had the Battle Without Honor or whatever the fuck by the RZA play like every fucking where the
Yes.
yeah, like the first Transformers movies, which we invoked, has that when Bumblebee turns into the new Camaro.
Yeah, that was the song, like the movie trailer song du jour. Much like how after like Inception came out, that just like Hans Zimmer sound was everywhere. I think whatever Transformers movie came out that year did it too.
Yeah.
Transformers, just unoriginal.
Yeah.
Except for giant robot balls.
Yeah, that'd be Revenge of the Fall. No, Dark of the Moon is the first Transformers movie released after Inception.
Dark of the Moon.
Yeah. I saw Blade Runner.
Oh! Dab 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 dab.
It Are there people still listening? Are there?
Hey, there's never been anyone listening.
It's always just been us. It was me, Austin.
All these
all
years.
those hundreds of downloads. It's
Yeah.
just me re-downloading
So you're why we have 25,000.
Yeah, all in Virginia.
Like I'm looking at stuff from Qatar and Ukraine.
Yeah. No, that's why it's only like.
Do you know we have
in Qatar? That's why it's like once every 6 months there's like 100 downloads.
Do you know we have more downloads in fucking Bangladesh than we do Idaho, Alaska, and South Dakota combined?
Well, hello, what is it, Bangladeshians?
Yes, sure.
There they go.
Click. Damn, I was just trying to say hi.
Yeah. No, I mean, without hyperbole, Blood Runner.
Blood Runner.
Blood Runner 2049 is my favorite year of the movie, or favorite year.
It was so good. Sam has been stupefied.
Sam's got a stroke. No, it's my favorite movie of the year so far.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. It was one of those movies that as I was watching it all unfold, all nearly 3 hours, apparently 4 hours, assembly cut, 3 hours of it unfold before my eyes, I was just so thankful that something like this exists in the world now.
Right?
Yeah, I was just like, oh. And it was one of those things where, like, I knew I would never get this experience again.
Yeah.
Just
I'm so glad that I got to see it in a theater.
Oh yes. You know, just like watching this shit go down, and it's. I mean, does it have to be nearly 3 hours? Probably not. Could they work on some of the pacing some places? Sure.
I feel like they could have easily gotten rid of the Joker.
Oh.
Yeah, Jared Leto. I feel well, not easily, but I feel like they could have skimmed him out and just have his assistant, just bump her up to
full villain status.
Yeah, full villain instead of henchman.
Yeah,
instead of Batista in that Bond movie that he was in.
Spectre.
Yeah,
we get some Batista here too.
We do. We get more Batista in his one scene than we got in all of Spectre.
At least better acting Batista.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Gosling. This is Gosling's one of his best performances.
Yeah. I think his like dry delivery, which is usually a big turnoff for me, was really served well.
Well, even when he has to lean into emotion, because everybody in Blade Runner world acts like a robot, even if they're a human.
Yeah.
But like everyone's just so detached. But
or are they humans?
Are
they all replicants?
That's the driving question, man. Yeah. And also, how satisfying is it? Like, I love the audio mix in this film.
Yes.
In addition to the color and use of light, but how satisfying is it every time that pistol goes off? That loud like thud.
Yes.
I was just
so good.
Yeah. It's more accessible than the original. But somehow more art house at the same time.
Yeah.
Is it the same pistol from the first one, like design and everything?
It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that fucking gun.
Yeah.
That gun's sweet. I have yet to see it, and like I said, the problem is like I have. Like, my 2 days off, now that I'm somewhat of, like, an adult, like, I have stuff to do, and fitting in a 3-hour movie is a lot harder than it used to be. And so like tomorrow I have to be in Gainesville at a certain time, but I'm hoping to do that. I'm going to wake up like super early, do it really early, go see that, go to the comic shop, and then go see Thor 2.
3.
Yeah, 3.
You can watch Thor 2.
No. Yeah, and I like how like I'm somewhat of an adult. Tomorrow it has to do with I have to see a movie, go to the comic shop and see another movie. But like
Two movies,
comic
book shop,
one comic book shop.
comic book.
I need to see it. Like I really, really need to see it. I would fucking
I will
smack myself in the
gladly
mouth.
go with you so that I can see it a
Well,
second time.
I think the earliest is like 12 something tomorrow,
yeah.
and I have so that my plan is to hopefully like do the Gainesville stuff, knock that out like 9 or 10 in the morning, and then knock out Blade Runner because I feel like
Mama
if
said knock you
I
out.
if I don't see it tomorrow, I'm not gonna be able to see it until next Wednesday or Thursday, and by then,
hopefully it won't get kicked out by Thor 3.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better. The sooner the
Well,
better.
they have.
Although I don't know, because every time I see 2 movies in the same day, one of the movies seriously suffers because of it. Like
Which one this time?
not seriously suffers, but like there's one that I love and one that I just think's okay. So who knows? And both of the movies that I plan on seeing tomorrow are getting very good reviews, very good indeed.
Though Thor 3 better reviews than Blade Runner 20.
According to what I've heard, Thor 3 is the best reviewed Marvel movie ever made.
Yeah, it's got a 90. It's better. Yes.
2 words. Tessa Thompson. That's why. Was she in any of the other ones? Nope. Is she in this one? Yeah. Was she in Creed? Was that perfectly scored almost?
So our local theater, Center Bill, after starting Friday, Blade Runner is only being shown at 12:55 p.m. That is the only screening of it starting Friday.
Then yeah, I'm gonna have to see it tomorrow. Give me 5 hours in the movie theaters, boys.
I mean, it's every day, at that time.
But, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, with my work schedule at any time.
You'd have to. It would either be tomorrow or next Wednesday.
Yeah. Yes. No, but it's I highly recommend it, man. Hopefully, I haven't like overhyped it, but it was a movie where I was like, oh, this is why I go to movies.
This is why I'm hot.
Yeah, you ain't 'cause you not. This is why I'm hot. Yeah.
Did you guys have a fun Halloween? Did you do anything other than you dressing up at work?
And watching, because I watched Blade Runner after work.
I guess that was what you did for Halloween. Okay, that's good Halloween to me. Jake, what'd you do for Halloween?
I worked.
So the Mount get a lot of traffic on Halloween?
They do I think it's like 2 days they'll do like a trick or treating on the grounds. And this year I think it was not on Halloween.
Probably the weekend.
Yeah, I think it was. And it's, if I remember last year, I wasn't here for it this year, but it was pretty busy, a lot of kids come and they have different like places almost like treasure spots like around the historic site where it's like, hey, go here, you got to pick this up, get this, get that.
So you have to learn?
Oh yeah, baby. But there were some people yesterday because I work the middle shift. There were some people as we were closing up who were like kids dressed up, So
anyone dressed up as the general?
I'm sure there was kids. I'm sure. I've seen little like Revolutionary War like kids dressed up in like kind of just generic Revolutionary War stuff and run around, and occasionally we'll have kids show up dressed as General Washington, stuff like that.
Minutemen.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, because I'm still looking, several theaters in the area are still going to have multiple showings on the daily. It's just not Centerville's.
Okay.
So
we'll see.
You still got time.
Good. Because like I said, I want to see it.
Town Center still has 3 showings a day next week.
Oh, next week? Oh, then maybe I'll just do it then. Because I don't want to spend that much money tomorrow.
Yeah, fresh off a transcontinental trip.
Yes. Which was lovely.
Good.
But was it worth not being able to see Blade Runner and Thor 3 in the same day?
Yeah. It was.
Excellent. Well, thanks again to Kyle Starks for coming on the show.
Also, congratulations to the Houston Astros or the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You'll know.
You'll know. We don't.
don't.
Because we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither do they, to be fair. Maybe they do. But the fucking thieves.
Thick as thieves you were.
Hey, go on our Instagram or Facebook page. Actually, go on it'll be on our Facebook page by this time.
Yes.
It'll be easier to watch there than going on like individual Instagrams because we're more active through the Geek Out page. We're more active through our own shit.
Yeah.
But we'll try to get it up on our Geek Out page. We filmed like a really stupid, fun, like 40-second Instagram video, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. That was like totally like random. Like we all just showed up and we had no plan of it. And we're like, oh, we have all the cheap pieces to make it. It was fun.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, last year we did a more of a Halloween thing. Was that last year or was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
Oh,
dude.
shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
Todd.
that one we actually threw some production value into.
That one.
Like
you
a full day.
You can watch that one somewhere.
It's on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a longer one. Like I said, it's a much betterly done thing. But go check it out. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's stupid and funny.
Everything we do is stupid.
Some
Of it's funny.
Some of it's funny.
We can probably even throw in a link to it in the show notes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to make it that much easier for you to watch it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Look at me. I'm Daniel Bryant yelling yes.
But no, thanks again to Kyle for coming on. Rock Candy Mountain out in comic book stores now. It's a game changer, and get that first volume while you're at it. And like Chris was saying, read Dead of Winter, and like we were all saying, read Sex Castle and Rick and Morty. They're all fantastic. He's great. He knows how to construct a fight, choreograph a fight, and he knows how to tell a joke. And those books exceed in that ability. So anyway, this has been another installment of Catching Up. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
Fried chicken.
Thank you very much.
Good night, Eric Bana.
This has been another Geek Out production. If you enjoyed what you heard, hey, we've got a special episode every Friday. Of course, there's the usual Catching Up show every Wednesday. And you get book club episodes just about every Tuesday these days. Thanks for listening.